Hello and welcome to the 4th episode of At the Table with TikTok. And tonight we're going to be putting a spotlight on comedy, but specifically Black British comedy. And I'm really excited to be joined with TikTok superstars Munya, Ahiz, I got it right there, and the incredible Eden. And obviously, I'm your host, Shante Joseph. I really should have introduced myself before, but I was way too gassed to be chatting to you guys. Like, who am I? I'm not anyone here. It's about you lot. But before we get into things, we're going to start with a cheeky little icebreaker. Okay, so this is quick fire, yeah? No thinking about this stuff.
All right, cool.
Plantain or plantain?
Plantain. There's no ifs about it. That's how it goes.
I know that it's plantain. But
you know,
when I go into the Caribbean shop, my lips actually won't purse together to say the words.
Why?
I don't know.
It's the pressure.
I'm from Norwich. Like, we didn't have anything. Do you know what I mean? We didn't have
bananas.
Reggae bananas. This whole concept of plantain and plantain is just too much. That's like a modern day philosophical dilemma. Do you know what I mean?
It really is. That was a very political answer.
Yeah, that was emotional. I know that. I think I've gone in too strong with the emotion.
Yeah, you have actually.
I should have saved it.
Wow, this is getting really tense now. This is getting real serious. Eden, you need to make it lighter for us.
Plantain.
Okay, you know what?
See, that's why she's at home.
Are you no, plantain 100%.
Cannot have that blasphemy going live out on TikTok.
No, plantain 100%. Are you serious?
Yeah, thank you. A woman of my own heart.
Plantain.
Exactly.
I agree to disagree.
Exactly.
I agree to disagree.
Do you know what? It's okay. Look, we're already fighting. We just got here. Munya, Jamie Oliver or Gordon Ramsay?
Gordon Ramsay, definitely.
100%?
Because I feel like he just says it raw. Do you know what I mean? Doesn't hold back. You know, if he doesn't like the way your sausage looks, he's going to tell you. I don't know why I'm looking at you when I say that. He's going to tell you. Do you know what I mean?
And everyone, first place you're going after lockdown?
Oh, that's really hard. Actually, no, it's not. Well, it is, because it's like, I have to be mindful because obviously it's not like before. Do you know what I mean?
It's a new world.
Yeah, it really is. Like, I was meant to go to LA this summer, and I wanted to go. Now I've moved my flight to next year. So I was going to say then, but then again, I don't know when that's going to be.
Yeah.
So I'm comfy at home.
You're chilling?
Yeah. I just know that, like, I know that things will eventually get better soon at some point.
Yeah.
But as of now, I'm not even looking at that because this COVID is a killer.
Wow, this was supposed to be a quick fire icebreaker. Everyone's out here giving me life stories.
Can I do my quick one?
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to Norwich, actually, despite slating it about a second ago, because I've got a brand new niece, and she's not seen me since January.
Oh, you better go.
Which is a few days out. So every day that she doesn't see me, that's more money I have to put in the birthday cards just to make up for being a bad uncle. So I'm just thinking about my future debts. Do you know what I mean? This is not out of love. This is just out of financial obligation.
I love that. Eden?
I'm going gym. I need to get this gym body back.
You're not doing at-home workouts?
I don't understand what's happened. They only do so much, okay? You can only get so far with gym workouts.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
no one's ever got abs.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
No, it's true.
yeah. I need some weights. I need some proper weights, like heavy stuff. To build that muscle.
Surely the weight of saying plantain instead of plantain is heavy enough.
You know
That's
what?
not a weight
You
at
know what?
all. You're light. You can walk freely in this world, no worries. Anyway, don't nobody trying to drag us back to that horrible place. Last one, most random Amazon purchase.
Oh, okay. So during lockdown, I actually bought like a wholesale box of lollipops.
Okay.
And it was ridiculous because that's the ones that you see like in the shop that they sell, like in the off-license shops.
Yeah.
But because I wasn't trying to go out, I said, let me go and spend money on this. And that finished in about a week, and I was back to buying sweets again. So that's happy days.
I love how everyone was sort of in apocalypse mode, and your strategy was to suck your way through world catastrophe instead of storing, non-perishable goods. But, each their own.
What did you buy then?
Oh, well, I bought some red furry handcuffs, but that was for a branded video, so it wasn't
brand?
out of... I don't want to embarrass them on camera. Do you know what I mean? Let's not dive into that.
I got the most random tongue scraper. It's brilliant, though. It works a treat, but what was going through my head when I decided to purchase it, I actually don't know. I really don't know. I was like, you know what? I want, like them dirty tongues. I don't want to have one of them.
Yeah, no.
I was like, let me get a copper. Let me get a copper one. So it was a pricey one too.
Yeah.
So like my tongue's looking perfect.
Are you not?
Yeah, show us.
We're not doing that.
Yeah, you nearly did it as well. I would have got the handcuffs out if you'd done that.
Yeah, that's not happening. But no, it was brilliant. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
Is it not dangerous having a copper tongue scraper? Like, do you not risk getting sort of tongue-based tetanus every time you use it?
You didn't think about that one.
The copper cleans itself or something.
Oh,
that was the selling point. Okay. Like the copper is like antibacterial or something. I should hope if I get I'm not getting I'm not getting nothing.
No, you're going to be fine.
You'll be good. You'll be good.
Don't let me put doubt in your mind. You're okay.
I was just going to say 2p coins are made from copper. So if you can't afford a tongue scraper from Amazon, use 2p coins. Well, no, don't do that. But it's an option.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your quick-fire answers. But let's get into it. So all three of you are here because your content has found a home on TikTok, and you're all incredible creatives in your own right. Did you kind of anticipate the popularity you would have when you first joined the platform?
Honestly, for me, I didn't feel like, I tell people this all the time, I didn't feel TikTok was that platform where I was gonna, quote unquote, blow. I felt like it would probably just be like through an acting role or something, because I'm really obsessed with acting. So I thought that TikTok for me, because like, there's this whole like stereotype that a lot of influencers are not seen as like serious. So I thought that might have an effect on me potentially getting jobs, acting jobs and stuff in the future. But actually it's gone the other way around, and it's actually turned out for the good. And yeah, honestly, like it's crazy. Like my growth on TikTok has been disgustingly amazing, and I want to thank you guys for watching, because if it wasn't for you guys, I don't know where I'd be. But yeah, all thanks to God, because honestly, like every day waking up now is a blessing, and yeah, it's surreal. It's surreal. Once you work hard for something and it comes out, you're like, I did that.
You did that. Minya.
Well, I mean, first of all, I actually. I actually cast him for a TV show back in the day.
All right.
So I'm really, really pleased to see, and that's a philosophy I've always had as well, which is, you know, if you work long and hard enough at something, and if you just persist, because, you know, it might not happen on another platform, it might not happen in an acting job, it might not happen on TV, it might happen on TikTok first, and then that opens all that doors. So I'm actually really chuffed to be sat here with you, Ahiz.
Thank you.
I've had a very surreal journey on TikTok. I've become a meme in America and sort of middle-class England, which I never expected. Every time I open the app, a different child from a different country is singing my lyrics, which is the power of TikTok. So I'm very grateful for all my international fans in Kazakhstan. Hello.
Eden?
When I tell you, everybody and their friend thought I wasn't funny. So then when people are telling me, you're so funny on TikTok, I was like, sorry? I was like, I don't know what's going on here, because all my friends have been like, no, you're not funny, you're not this, you're not that. So then when all of a sudden people are like, oh, you're actually good at something, I'm like, thank you. It was a shock. It was a shock.
Maybe they saw the copper tongue scraper and thought, nah, she's born in that.
They did. They 100%. 100%. That was it. That was a deal breaker.
I love that for you.
Deal breaker, 100%.
And one of the most important questions I have to ask you guys, can you still go to Tesco's and not get recognised?
Oh, fam, that's a different story. Like I don't like to use this word, but I'm a celeb now. Right, so I have to be mindful about how I go in. Like usually, if I'm ever gonna go into like Tesco or something, it will be a quick once you put your sliders in. But now, if my ankles are not creamed, I have to have socks on because you don't know who's watching.
100%.
Like,
they'll be like, dry
it's
ankle,
crazy. Like honestly, like I went to JD the other day and I went to go and pick up a pair of trainers. Me thinking I'm gonna be there for like 20 minutes. I was there for like 45 minutes taking pictures of people. Like this is my life now, and honestly, I'm not complaining. But you know, I'm very humbled. Like I'm really, really grateful because the fact that you can have so much of an effect on somebody through your screen who has never ever met you, and some of the stories I hear is really like I'm an emotional wreck. I've got an ugly cry, so I try not to read them as much as I usually do. But yeah, it's just so amazing to just know that you have such a good impact on someone's life just through you making videos online. It's crazy. It really is.
I definitely think that like online makes you very visible if you do stuff on there. You know, I try as much as I can to talk to everyone, never decline a photo, because I never anticipated any form of sort of online success. So I'm just very grateful to everyone who sits down and watches videos, because I know how easy it is just to scroll and to move on to something else. So, you know, anyone who's taken the time to sit through 60 seconds and then to write a comment or to share it with friends. I got time for anyone like that.
Yeah,
I love that. Because I always used to see you around our area as well, and I was like, I'm not going to say hi to him, but you can't go to Tesco without being spotted, because there's me watching you Tesco.
Yeah, you were there in this sort of amongst the fish fingers in the frozen section watching. But I think we owe it to with the traditional sense of fame. If you're in a film, people pay to go and to go and see the film. If you're on TV, people tune in. I think online it's the same thing. There's a level of loyalty there. So I feel like the minute you disregard the people who are watching your stuff, you're actually shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, man, I think definitely we owe it to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you still go to Tesco, Eden?
Listen, I don't like leaving my house, okay? I'm so comfortable in my house. So I'm sitting here not leaving my house, okay? So have I been to... The last time I went to Tesco's, it was a long time ago, okay? It was a long time ago. So,
Great Harrods.
It's only Harrods for me. But yeah, no. So I can't say I've been recognised in Tesco's because I haven't been to one in a hot minute. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Maybe the next time I go to Tesco's, I'll let you know if I get recognised. I will let you know. You'll be the first people to know. Don't worry.
You better tell us. You better record it for TikTok.
100%.
You better record them.
100%. Definitely. It'll be up there.
And so let's talk about content. Like you were saying, it's so easy to just scroll past stuff online. Everybody's putting out a lot of work. How do you make sure the stuff that you put out is actually watched and engaged with and is different?
So I think definitely in the past there have been comedy writers like Ricky Gervais who says things like, you should perform or write about what you know. So, initially I thought to myself, let me try and do super relatable stuff like, when your girlfriend leaves her charger at your house. And I thought, well, it's not very accurate because, I don't have chargers and I don't have girlfriends. So let me instead do something that's more realistic, which is, I kind of like politics. I like what's going on in the world. I like a bit of social commentary. And I thought, well, let me just run with that. Let me see what happens if I parody songs with a bit of politics in. And, you get people who enjoy that and have the same sense of humour.
Yeah.
So I definitely think it's a good thing to make content for the audience you want. Because then they'll come to you and, if you want a switched on audience, fine. If you want an audience who just like to kick back and laugh at memes, you can get them too. So I just try and stay authentic because I think the moment you switch it up, people are going to know.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And he's like, a lot of your content is so funny because it's really relatable. But like we were saying before, it speaks to something really small, like the way Bobrisky danced. We all know it's funny. We all know it's hilarious. But recreating that moment was just so genius. And like now, every time I log on to Twitter, there's somebody quoting your video about something. So how do you make content that is really engaging and different?
You see, one thing I used to do, which I don't do anymore, is overthink things. Because the more you overthink, your work is not as authentic. I feel like once you're true to yourself and you just go with the flow, honestly, you should just have the mindset that whoever wants to watch will watch. And whoever's not wanting to see it will not want to see it. Because one thing I've realized that my content's not for everyone. Some people just don't like my content, and that's totally fine because everybody has different tastes. But one thing that I've realized that in my content, which goes very viral, are relatable videos. So videos on topics that people don't really talk about or people don't really discuss. And it's effective because you're like, somebody might comment and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe you genuinely think like that. Oh my gosh, your mind, how do you come up with these things? Because many people, relate with things that are not really shed light upon. And I think that's what's more effective than what's really out there. So in a way, that already creates like a little niche already for that audience to come through. And obviously they will send it to their friends and their friends send it to their friends. It's like a whole domino ripple effect, So yeah, I definitely feel for me, relatable content that people can connect with and identify with is really, really important because it's like, it sets you apart from the rest and sets you apart from what is seen as the norm. Whereas if you do things which are not really like spoken about, somebody out there will genuinely feel and connect with you. I feel that's why my audience is so effective and I have such a strong connection with them because they know exactly, we almost think the same. And
exactly.
When you see somebody who's out there who you don't genuinely know on a one-to-one level, it's like you're longing for that, as opposed to it being right at your feet. So yeah, I feel that's what is very effective,
And Eden, how do you make your content stand out online?
I mean, I just talk about literally whatever I'm thinking about. So I could have a conversation with my friend and I'd sit there and think, I'm pretty sure it's not just me and her that think this. So why don't I just make a video about it and see if other people actually relate, or if I'm just being weird and like overthinking things. So I'll just, as he said, I literally just make relatable stuff, like, because obviously everyone goes through pretty much the same thing. Like at my age, if you're a girl, you know what I mean? So like, I feel like I have a lot of, I'm a basic gal, so I appeal to a lot of people. So, and a lot of people have the similar mindset and brain as me. So like, and also being like one of them single gals, I mean, who isn't single? And who isn't scrolling through TikTok, seeing like all these relationships and sitting there thinking, why is that not me? You know what I mean? Like, why can that not be me? So like, me, myself, I just sit there and I make up, listen, you can't, I don't even know anymore. I just don't even know. I don't even know what to say. I speak from the heart. I just say whatever's on my mind. Do you know what I mean? And I just hope and pray that someone actually thinks the same way as I do.
Yeah, which they do, clearly, because you get so much engagement.
Yeah.
And you mentioned very briefly just about having an audience that you know that you can relate to. And I guess we're all here because it's Black History Month. And so how do you feel like your blackness influences the content that you create?
Yeah, I feel, unfortunately, in the society that we live in, on social media and in the world, but mainly now social media, because this is like about TikTok, a lot of creators who are people of color and who are Black are not seen as important. Their content is not, really celebrated as much as many creators who are out there who are, predominantly white. And I've realized on the app especially, a topic which isn't really spoken about is that there's this thing called pretty privilege, where people would see, I don't know, some creator called Noah Beck, or somebody who's on, he's one of the American TikTokers, and once he has his shirt off, you have all the 5-year-olds commenting pregnant emojis. And I'm like, Miss Girl. This is a bit, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's nice to see that, people can relate with, somebody who is Black, who, yes, I am British born and bred, but I still have my roots.
Yeah.
And I really like the fact that TikTok has the hashtag #MyRoots, because, you're being true to your culture and your background. And it's really unfortunate for even a lot of African Americans, because a lot of them actually do not know their background. And it's a thing where it's like they kind of had to like pick up the pieces along the way. Whereas that's what I like about London, is that, and the UK, it's very diverse. Yes, America is, but in terms of upbringing and how we learn is very different. And I like the fact that we're having this month to really, showcase that through content creators. Because, TikTok is not, when people do TikToks, not everybody's doing things, with a high-tech production system. Everything's done from your room. Although I do film with my camera from time to time, I film on my iPad and my phone, and I like that rawness and people seeing, this is a boy from London who is just like me, similar age, or maybe you're probably a bit younger or older, whatever the case may be, and he's just doing his thing. And I just like the fact that, although I know that Black life should be celebrated all year round, but, it's good that, we have this month for us to cherish and really celebrate who we are and celebrate our culture, because unfortunately, we're not celebrated enough, and it's evident to see, like, with the whole, BLM, what was going on this year. So yeah, I really feel like this month is a really, really good month for us to really showcase that, and really embrace and celebrate, our past and our culture and what we can bring to the world.
100%. Munya, a lot of your content does deal with, obviously, racism, and is a lot of this based off your own experiences as well?
Yeah, well, I grew up in a village called Framingham Pigot, which
Excuse
you can
me?
tell, it sounds like a night,
That sounds like a rude word in
It
Patois.
definitely wasn't the hood. I think you were at risk of being sort of mugged by badgers more than human. But anyway, I had a very much an experience of being in the minority and sort of, feeling very much like the odd one out. And so I wanted to reflect some of those experiences in my content. And that's why I'm happy that it's resonated, because, as Eden was saying, familiarity rings true for so many people, and they engage with what they feel familiar with. So if I was to loop that into the question about Black History Month, I think that what I like about TikTok is that it doesn't shy away from promoting a minority viewpoint. So one of my most successful videos was about the Black Lives Matter protests, but as reported by like a sort of right-wing media. And it's there to stimulate thought for sure, and it's there to kind of get people thinking. And the algorithms that TikTok uses, whereby anyone can have a video pushed to the forefront, it's great, because it means that in traditional media forms like television, where a black presenter or a comedian or an actor might not get a foot in, all of a sudden you wake up and you are on the front page. And suddenly people can start to dive into your portfolio and your videos and stuff. So it somehow managed to fuse in representation and different forms of entertainment very well in one app, which I really respect.
Have you ever had any kind of challenging conversations around race and identity sparked by your videos?
Yeah, definitely. I'd say less so on TikTok, where it's sort of 3-year-olds who sort of spend a life dedicated to Fortnite. I think I sort of save those arguments for people in the comments, but it has stimulated conversation. I have, you know, I've been able to, from those videos, I've been able to speak in newspapers like The Guardian. I've been on Sky News, BBC News, ITV News, and my news character is called Barty Crease. So in addition to being able to talk about these severe issues, you know, I've been able to show the nation my Barty Crease, which I feel like is the biggest achievement.
And Eden, how do you feel like your blackness influences your work, or even how people receive your work?
I mean, to be completely honest, I don't really speak about like racism or like black issues. I think there was only one video that I did about, what was it about? I think it was about black parents or like strict parents or something like that. And obviously some people relate and then some people won't. And then some people are like, but my white parents are like that too. And I'm like, okay, I know. We're all the same, okay? But I think in a weird way, it doesn't give you an edge, but it kind of gives you a bit of something more to add, you know, a bit more flavour, I feel like. Because like, you know, why not? You've got more experiences, you've got like more, like, as you said, like there's so much about like racism and like loads of different problems that we go through that other people may not go through, and we have the opportunity to like shed light on it. And literally like TikTok is, as I said, TikTok is such, like, it's so easy for like one of your videos, like anyone can go viral on TikTok, you know what I mean? Like literally anyone. So like, no matter who you are, white, black, mixed race, Asian, like you all have the opportunity of doing that. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like that's what's good about TikTok compared to like, like TV or Instagram. Cause like, as he said, like genuinely, like Noah Beckwith got famous for looking the way he does.
Yeah, I must follow him.
I don't have that, I wish I could, but it's
You're gorgeous.
not in the cards right now.
You've only got one row of eyebrows.
Lie.
I'm saying, look, mine are massive compared to yours. I think there might be a
right.
bit of
Okay.
As you were.
Okay.
Carry on.
But yeah, no, Noah Beck just I don't have that fortune. I'm not fortunate enough to do that. So like I feel like, yeah, just being relatable is brilliant. That's what I have to say. Having a great personality, love it, love it.
And before you started making your content, were there any content creators or TikTokers or YouTubers or even Viners that really inspired you?
I can't lie. I had no inspiration. I think the first video that actually did well was just some random story time that I did because I was on the phone with my friend and I was telling her my problems and she was like, just make a TikTok about it. And I was like, that is so weird. And she was like, just do it. I did it. And I was like, oh, people like this. So yeah, no. But like the people who like, you see like people like Kevin Hart or like Dwayne Johnson and stuff like that. And you're just like, I want to be you. Do you know what I mean? Like genuinely. And even his like, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm saying your name so wrong, but we're just going to move past that.
Like that, without it.
She said his.
That's it.
He's.
Yeah,
am I saying it right?
Yeah, that's it, correct,
Okay,
yeah.
brilliant. I was like following you or something, and I was like, this guy, you know what? I kind of like him. He's got a little something about him, something. So I see your videos, and I was like, maybe I should do something like that. But yeah, no. As I said, literally no. I was just on the phone and my friend was like, make a TikTok, and I was like, cool, let me do it. I did it at 3 a.m. so no one from my school would see it because I was that embarrassed. But it's all good. We're here now, so.
And Ahiz, your content creator inspirations, who are they?
You know what? A lot of it is not solely based on people on social media. It's usually a lot of people who are, you know, in the acting industry. You know, so you have people from who are John Boyega, Letitia Wright, Malachi Kirby, all black, amazing A-listers. And when I look at them, it's so inspiring because, you know, they all came from, you know, similar areas from London. And, you know, you see them popping up at the Met Gala like it's any random, you know, motive. So it's really, really inspiring to see people who, you know, are young, you know, and who had similar walks of life to me and who are breaking it in Hollywood. And that's the goal for me, you know, to break Hollywood, as in Jimmy Kimmel will see me on his screen.
Oh, yes. I claim that for you.
Do you know what I mean?
Is this wood?
You know what I mean?
Touch wood. I'm claiming it for you.
Wood, do you know what I mean? And then, do you know what? Like, it's so inspiring, but at the same time, I do find it inspiring because they are people who I genuinely aspire to be like. But I would have wanted somebody who is like, who grew somewhat on social media as well. And two people in particular who I really do, you know, admire is a guy called Thompson and
I love
Emma Chamberlain.
Yeah.
And I like them both because Ricky, for example, he was from a town called Raleigh, North Carolina, which had no, you know, no one knows anything about the city really. It's like, there's no like, you know, big breakout stars from there and stuff. And you always had like a vision to like really make it big. I heard about his story when, you know, Vine closed down, he had no management, you know, he moved to LA at 18, you know, and, you know, things weren't always working for him. You know, he had one role in some series and that went well. Then after that, when they discontinued it, you know, he didn't really know what to do. But now he's back up on his feet again, you know, working with amazing brands. Emma Chamberlain, on the other hand, you know, she started off, you know, normal regular schoolgirl, you know, and I love what she does because she's a YouTuber, she does TikTok, all these kind of things. But the reason why she is so effective is because she is so real. You know, a lot of influencers, beauty influencers especially, you know, they will, you know, put on the camera on, hey guys, you know, but it's not always like that, you know, you don't always get your eyeliner right, you know, you're not always looking, you know, good, everything crisp. So it's nice to see that she, you know, sometimes has her hair up like in the most messiest bun, you know, sometimes she looks like, you know, she's a train wreck, but she loves it and people love it because that is real, you know, and many people look up to that because they can see someone who's relatable, they can see somebody who is like them and not somebody who is trying to be like the perfect person. And I think that's the reason why her fan base is so strong, because young people can see that it's okay to actually look off some days.
That's why I do it.
Yeah.
That's what the hairline's about. People think, oh, it's receding. No, this is just to give you confidence.
It's natural. Do you know what I mean? And we love that. We love that. We love naturalism. We love, you know, the realism of things because social media can be a very toxic place. Although it can be very entertaining, it has its toxic parts.
Well, yeah, we're going to get to that. But Minya, I want to know, yes, your inspirations, but mainly the inspirations behind your characters because they are so perfect. Do you like workshop them? Like, how do you get them so just on point every time? I love it.
So I wanted to use my characters as a way of kind of expressing issues because I do believe that young people are very smart and I believe that we are very interested in the world. You know, people do think that we spend our evenings grinding on a wardrobe for a TikTok, but in addition to that, we do care and we know what in the world is affecting us. And so I thought, well, rather than a depressing news bulletin or a 6-page news article, I'll embody these issues in characters. So when Johnny Oliver was invented in response to jerk rice, that was an embodiment of cultural appropriation. Same with Unknown P. I grew up in a very middle-class village where I felt completely the odd one out, and I was like, okay, I know that they think I'm strange because I'm brown and I'm the only brown boy in the village, but some of the things you're doing are strange. And I wanted to express that through my character, Unknown P. Same with Barty Crease, like I could feel this really kind of grating racism in the press, and I was like, look, just say it. Just say it. Don't hide it. Just say what you want to say, and I'll be that news character to point out this in the press. Which then started a conversation. So I don't workshop the characters per se, but certainly all these thoughts I have on certain issues just work their way into a character and then an identity is created. My inspirations don't really come from an online space as such. I remember listening to a podcast called The Bugle, which is really old school. John Oliver is like a Jimmy Kimmel level talk show host in America. And he used to do a podcast with his best mate and they would satirize everything. No matter how serious it would be, they would find a way to have me in stitches. And that's when I thought, all right, cool. I could do relatable comedy. I'm not very good at that, but I'd like to be the guy who, no matter how bad the world gets, I'll try and squeeze a laugh out of it.
Yeah. I'm curious to know what your journey into content creation was. Like, did you study acting or? No.
So I'll give you the very shortened version. So I went to university and I studied psychology.
Okay.
I thought I was going to be a forensic psychologist for the FBI. CSI Zimbabwe, give me a ring. And then I realised that would take too long. So I went back to a dream of being a presenter, which I'd had since I was a kid.
Right.
And everyone kept saying to me, you need to have 10,000 followers, 20,000 followers, 30,000 followers, which I didn't have. And I ended up getting a writer's job on a show, which is actually where I met his, and did I say your name right? Ahiz. Which is where I met Ahiz.
Don't worry.
And from there, I knew I could write scripts.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, look, you're not going to let me on TV, but at least I can make my own scripts happen on Instagram and TikTok and other social media platforms. And I thought, well, look, if this is working, then maybe I should just ditch the TV dream and see what happens. And now it's got to the point where, you know, social media has elevated me to a point where I can actually sidestep into TV.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the journey. Psychologist gone wrong, TikTok sensation.
I love that for you, though.
It's really inspiring. So just cut in because, like, you presented the Brits this year.
Oh yeah.
And honestly, like when I saw it, I was like so amazed because, you know, when you find your feet again and, you know, you use what you have, you know, to build something from that, it's really nice and liberating to see somebody who actually sees your creativity. Yeah. Because like now, social media is now, you know, the future. You know, people don't really watch TV as they used to before now. Literally, kids are always glued on their phones. So it's so amazing and powerful and so remarkable to see, you know, you started off from somewhere and built yourself up and showed like these people that, look, I actually can provide good TV and see you amongst other amazing people. It's really inspiring, it really is.
And it's also quite testament to the fact that all three of you are incredibly talented. And like you were saying before, the world of TV has been very wide, very exclusive, very difficult to break through. And you've kind of all just created huge platforms from being entertaining and interesting yourselves. And it's like our generation is no longer waiting for people to open the door for us. We're very much like, we can literally just do it ourselves, and we can, and it's not like you're proving yourselves to TV companies, because you're just doing the stuff because you found it interesting and you loved it and you wanted to produce. But you've subsequently said to these old archaic institutions, I don't really need you. You actually need me more than I need you. Is there anything that you kind of like wanted, or before you were saying you wanted to be a TV presenter, then you ended up presenting the Brits, but are there any other examples of things that maybe you had wanted before, but you were like, you didn't know how to get it, or you were denied, that now that you've built up a platform for yourself is accessible to you?
Well, sorry, Eden, I'm taking up all your time, forgive me. I wanted to say that there's a lot of things that I still want to do and I believe will happen. Like I have my vision board and I'll work towards that. I'd love to make a TV show, but one thing I will say is that something that working towards TV helped me understand is that I had to really perfect my craft. And we spoke about the algorithm on TikTok, where you might wake up one day and a video's gone viral. And if you wake up one day and your video hasn't gone viral, you might think, oh, well, I can't even make it on social media. But actually, I would say that even if there was an app that made sure you went viral every day at 1 p.m, there's still something to be said about making sure you have a journey, because you learn what to do. I know my old videos are terrible. If I look back at them, I hate them. But I had to do that just to learn how to do it, so that my first sketch ever didn't get me cancelled. You know, I just had to learn how to use satire in a way that wasn't too offensive, but was educational. So in addition to helping me achieve some of the goals that I didn't know I'd be able to, the whole journey of kind of social media allowing you to make mistakes and, you know, allowing you to practice things without putting you on TV as soon as you get one thing right, that's all valuable. So you definitely don't worry about going viral the first 10, 20, 100 videos, because that's what does make the best creators, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And you touched on it very briefly before, but like, having a huge platform can be a great thing, but there can also be downsides of it. Like social media, I've always described it as something that is very unnatural. It's not natural for so many people to be watching you all the time. And I wonder, how do you deal with that? And how have you been able to kind of protect your mental health whilst growing a platform and producing content?
Now, I've always wanted to do this anyway. It's always been like a dream of mine to do it. But you know, I always said, oh yeah, you know, I want people to scream my name and ask for autographs and all this kind of stuff. But when you're actually in the moment, it's a complete different story. Because now I'm at a position where it's like, okay, I've got more than a population following me on one platform now. And when I'm asleep, as in when I'm conked out, people are still watching me and seeing my stuff online. So it's like, it's this constant radar that people are always, you know, waiting to see what's gonna happen. Even when I remember a couple of weeks ago, I posted a video on TikTok, and I remember very vividly because it was so scary to me. Usually when I post a video in a minute, now it gets about, you know, 6,000, 7,000 views. But, you know, when I before that actually happened, the first time it actually happened for the very first time, I think it was like 46 seconds and I had about 300 people looking at it. And I was like, this is not making sense to me. It is very scary. And, you know, I would say that, you know, there's been times where like my anxiety levels have gone up a bit because it's like people are always watching and it's always that fear of the unknown. You don't know who's looking at you. Yeah. So it's like, you know, one thing I have to realize is part of the package, it's part of it. I shouldn't really think about it too much. I just realized that now I am a public figure. So it's a matter of, you know, just being mindful about how I speak, how I reply to comments, you know, just being mindful that, you know, I'm not making things too offensive because sometimes you can do things, you know, unintentionally, you can actually offend somebody. So it's a matter of, you know, just being mindful of everything, you know. My manager's a great guy. He always tells me if there's anything that, you know, he wants me to change up just to make sure that it doesn't have an effect on, you know, how you look or your brand. And I'm always telling him to be really open with me because you know exactly how it works in this industry. So please tell me if there's anything that, you know, you might feel I need to change, you know, and I'm gonna have that open relationship with him. And even my family at home, you know, they love the fact that, you know, I'm growing on TikTok and stuff, but I tell them, is there anything that you might feel that, you know, could have an effect on, you know, my growth or, you know, let me know, you know. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't like being told what to do. I don't. But
what's your star sign?
Apparently, I don't really believe in it, but apparently I'm an Aquarius.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But it's weird because apparently a lot of the things are actually very, very true. So it's weird. It's really, really weird. But yeah. So like, I tell them if there's anything that, you know, that could have an effect on my growth, please let me know, because sometimes, you know, it takes somebody to tell you before sometimes you actually realize it yourself. Yeah. So I think it's just being alert and being aware, but not to the point where it's worrying. It's just being, you know, mindful, you know, because things are not like before. So when I post, I should be mindful that people can see it at any second, any time. You don't know who's watching. It could be somebody who could potentially help me get an acting role. It could be any normal random person, so you don't know who it is. So I think it's just a matter of, you know, always also being true to myself and not forgetting that I'm still a normal human being. Yes, things are not always the same because obviously now I am a public figure now, but, you know, being mindful that, you know, this is a new door and a new chapter for me. So, you know, yeah, just living in the moment, but not overthinking it to the point where I'm getting worried, because by then, you know, your content will not be as authentic and your viewers will see that, you know. So just taking it as it comes and just being calm with everything and not, you know, overthinking it, just being careful with it, basically.
Yeah. On that day you got hacked. On that day, sorry, your video wasn't going up as much as normal. Mm-hmm. That's actually because me and Eden hacked you, so we could have some views for when.
Do you want to explain that?
100%.
Okay. I was just getting sick and tired of seeing, you know, everyone watching your videos and no one.
You're so popular. So the people love you.
Do you know what I mean? To prey on my downfall. Do you know what I mean? But
we pulled some strings.
Don't worry. I'm in your corner. And Eden, do you feel almost a pressure sometimes to constantly be uploading? And how do you deal with having so many people watching you and following your platform?
I mean, the thing is, as he said, you never know who's watching you. You actually don't, because as he said, it could be some person who wants to hire you for some film that you've always wanted to do, and it could just be some 12-year-old thinking you're funny. And it's just like, you sit there and you're like, you really deep it, you're like, wow, oh, okay. And then I feel like as I have gotten more and more people started to follow me, I'm like, okay, cool, I need to be posting every day because he's posting every day, but he's not posting every day. So how many times should I be posting? And sometimes I just need to calm down and say to myself, like, it is okay to take a break. You don't have to, like, no one's going to be banging at your door saying, where have you gone if you don't post for a day? Like, it actually is okay. And I feel like I've always been like, oh my gosh, are people should I post this many in a day? Oh, is that too many? Like, will I be taking up people's following page or something? Will they get annoyed of me? And it's just like, what? I should stop caring, because like, yes, you should care about what people like, their opinions, and you don't want to be like ridiculously controversial or say something like that's a bit offensive. But like, when it comes to how many times you post, like what you're posting about, this, that, and the other, it's just like, you need to take a minute and sit there and be like, it's on your terms. Like, it's your account. It isn't other people's account. It's your account. And if you want to post it, then you're going to post it. If you want to post 4 videos in a day, you post 4 videos in a day. If you don't want to post for a week, you don't post for a week. But I feel like there has been a pressure to be like, oh, I need to post every day. But it's almost like, at this point, I'm just like, if I post, I post. If I don't post, sorry. Okay, you know what I mean?
Do you find that taking breaks from social media helps your creativity?
Oh, 100%, 100%. Like, I'll give myself like 2 days off TikTok completely. Not just like stop like creating any videos, but like I just won't be on there for 2 days, because sometimes you get so enticed in followers, in likes, in comments, in shares and all of that. It's just like, okay, cool. Like I'm literally, so at some points, I'm just standing in front of the camera and I'm like, what am I making a video about? What is the point of me being here if I actually have nothing to say? So it's almost like, okay, cool, let me just take a minute, reevaluate my life and think of something that, like, the best ideas, the ones that have done the best, or like out of my videos, have been the things that just come to me randomly when I'm making a cup of tea or when I'm brushing my teeth. Like, it's not the ones where I'm standing in front of the camera going, what am I saying? What do I need to say? What do I need to say? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Munya, on my days.
Yeah.
We need to talk about how quickly you turn around content. But even before we get there, like, when all the stuff with Chip and Stormzy happened, it hadn't even been fresh for 20 minutes before people were atting you about your response.
Yeah, I know.
There is a pressure on you, essentially, to make content, and all of your content is incredibly produced as well, so really high quality stuff, very quickly. Like, how are you, A, creating that, and B, do you know what you want to respond to and what you don't want to respond to, and when do you give into pressure, and when do you say, no, actually, I need time for myself?
So, yes, that was quite stressful. I had already made a video that day and I was sort of in bed playing video games, eating pizza. And I saw that there was beef kicking off and I clicked on the link and I was the top tweet for some reason. I thought, right, okay, definitely I'm being pranked by Elon Musk on Microsoft right now or something. And then I saw it and I thought, okay, right, I am actually receiving some serious pressure here. And the long and short of that one is I decided, no, I'm not going to do anything. And just as I was about to close my laptop, I had a message on Twitter and I looked at it and it was from John Boyega. And he said to me, get to a garage now.
Oh,
and then I thought, all right, okay, fine, it's going to be an all-nighter then. And I think that's probably one of the few times I would do it, because my job is to balance myself out.
Yeah.
I can't respond to every news story, and I don't want to respond to every news story. It's just something that resonates with me. Try and do 2 videos a week about something that I can really sort of captures how people are feeling at the time. But yeah, I think it's an important question, because there's things that people are going to expect from Ahiz, from Eden, from yourself. We're all creators and people will demand of us, but it's sort of like, what they really want from us is just quality. They want to know that you can create something thoughtful and that's up to scratch. So I'm happy to miss out on some of the things I should react to if it means that the thing I am putting out matches their expectations of what they really want.
And do you take breaks? Because I feel like you are constantly on the ball, always responding to stuff. Everything you make is so timely. When is your downtime?
I don't have too much downtime, which I wouldn't advise. I think it is very important to do that. But in my own philosophy, I think it comes down to the fact that I don't know if it's realistic to always want to be relevant.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's a goal you should have. But I do believe in, if you're going through a phase in your life where you're really resonating with people and they're enjoying what you're doing, work as hard as you can for as much as you can. And then when that moment passes, you can then enjoy all of the things that you were working from in that period. So I very much intend to whack on some Speedos and head to Montenegro as soon as I hit the age of 40 and never make another video again. But until then, whilst there's this appetite for me to keep creating content, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And that's the way that I've always been taught,
Yeah.
It's a cultural difference as well. When I was in Zimbabwe, there was this huge drive to try and be the best. And so that's something that sort of stuck with me. But I know that I probably would make slightly better content if I did rest more. So that's why I'd encourage it.
Yeah. And Eden, for you, what do you think is next? You're creating all of this amazing content. You have a huge following. Do you have a sort of end goal or place you want to be as a result of all of your work online?
My end goal, my ultimate dream would be to be on like a film or the West End or Broadway, something like that. I'm a very musically inclined person. I love acting, I love singing. I can't dance. Don't ask me to dance, it's not gonna happen.
You have to dance,
but everything else I can. Yeah, okay, well then I'll learn. just for that. I'll get the role that you don't need to do that much dancing. I'll just be doing a little 2-step, do you know what I mean? But no, that's my ultimate goal. I don't know how I'm gonna get there. I don't know when I'm gonna get there, but hopefully I'm gonna get there, and I'll let you know when I do. But as of right now, oh yes, you will be, because I'll be everywhere. I will be everywhere. Like as of right now, I'm just focusing on just trying to get some good content up there for people to actually be like, oh my gosh, I know her. If I like walk down the street, do you know what I mean? That'd be lovely. That'd be brilliant. If we can do that, if we can make that happen, that'd be lovely. But yeah, no, I don't. Wherever the wind blows, wherever the wind takes me, I'm there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to be though.
Absolutely.
Like when you have less structure and you're less rigid with yourself, then you're more open to other opportunities. Do you know what I mean? Like you receive more because you're not like, this is where I want to be and this is the strict goal that I have for myself. How do you kind of manage goals and expectations and all that kind of stuff?
With me, I always like try to, as I'm getting older now, and especially when I started uni and stuff, I was like, okay, I'm at a position now where, you know, I really need to now map out my life now, because, you know, you had school, which was okay, but now the whole point of university for students is that you're trying to see where you see yourself in a few years' time.
Yeah.
And with me, I told myself that, you know, I really want to make sure that, you know, I'm doing something that is productive and I know that it's worthwhile. Because, like, you know, people could be like, oh, you know, uni's the most amazing experience of your life. For me, it was a complete scam. Literally hated it, and I still hate it till this day. But that's why I'm glad TikTok is here, because TikTok, like, it gave me a sense of optimism. And like, because a lot of people, and I know a lot of young people can relate, when they go to uni, sometimes they feel lost because they're like, I'm at this place and I'm like, I don't know what to do now. But like, TikTok came around and it's like, okay, cool. Now that I'm here, you know, I've always wanted to do acting. It's always something that I've always wanted to do. But I feel now that I've had TikTok, now that, you know, I've got a management and now that it's almost like my job now, alongside uni, it's like I now have a different outlook on life. So like, I really, really want to pursue my acting so much. Like, acting's my life. I really want to pursue it as much as I can.
Yeah.
And I feel like TikTok has given me that like almost boost to say, okay, I actually have people who are watching who genuinely like. I had somebody message me from South Korea the other day. I'm like, I'm international now. Like, I was thinking London or Brixton, but I'm international now. So like, I'm really glad that, like, you know, people are genuinely seeing my work as valid now.
Yeah.
So it kind of like makes me like, you know, really think outside the box and say, okay, you know, from now till I don't know when, let's say now till 25, I want to have at least booked something substantial, something good, something big,
Yeah.
you know? And, you know, I'm just really grateful because like I'm in training for acting now, so I'm really trying to grasp and get as much as I can, you know? Just like what you said about perfecting your craft is very important, because this industry is very tough and they do not care at all, you know? So you have to really put yourself out there and, you know, be confident, you know? Yes, you know, sometimes you might go for every single stage for a casting and you get to the very last stage and they're like, oh, sorry, we're not for you. It's unfortunate, that happens, but see it as a blessing in disguise and keep pushing, because if anything, I really feel like rejection is protection. And I feel like once you get rejected in something, it should actually push you to work harder and not settle for small, because that's when you once that happens, you now feel like what you've worked for is worth it now. And it wasn't, because nothing good comes easy, you know what I mean? But I'm really glad that TikTok has been that platform that has actually helped me to like have a positive mindset on, you know, the future and what could potentially happen, because life is unpredictable.
For real.
And for an actor and people who do things, people who are creatives in freelance, things can be very unpredictable. You might have a season in your life where you realize you're not getting as much work as you used to, and you don't know what to fall back on. So yeah, I'm just trying to keep optimistic, you know, keep creating content, just like I started, like not even like, you know, weakening my ideas or you know, my efforts, you know, I just keep on delivering just like I did from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Because it is the comments that really keep me going, the stories I hear, the effect it has on people. And that's all it is about being an actor. You are a storyteller, you are educating people, you are changing people's lives through stories. And by doing that from the foundations of TikTok, only God knows where things are going to end up going soon.
Well,
So,
South Korea,
yeah.
from what you said earlier.
South Korea.
Be in a film in South Korea in like 5 years.
Crazy, honestly.
But you mentioned something really interesting, rejection.
Yeah.
And I think, so I'm a writer, and a lot of the time, my job or my work is to pitch ideas to publications.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of rejection.
Oh,
so
sure.
I definitely feel like I'm kind of like accustomed to it. Like every single day I'm like, oh, you don't want this pitch? That's fine. Like rejection is very much part of my job, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
But it's not easy for everyone.
not.
Rejection is very, very difficult.
Very
and sometimes when you put so much work into something and you get rejected or doesn't get the pickup you want, like how do you deal with that? How do you process rejection and then use it to fuel you?
Well, I take rejection, whenever anyone sort of rejects me for anything, especially growing up and going for these TV jobs and stuff and being told I didn't have enough followers and things like this, I always used to make a mental note of the person, and I always knew that I would see them again. And I've had situations where, for example, perhaps I've been fortunate enough to do a red carpet event, and I've sort of been led to the place where we do our opening links, and I've walked past people who have said to me, "You're not going to do it." So I just make a mental note and I go, "Cool, this video is for you. This video, the reason I'm waking up at 3 a.m. to do this is just so you have to see my face tomorrow." Not in an egotistic way, but just to kind of give myself that drive.
Yeah.
Very much like, is it Arya from Game of Thrones? Where she gets slept on but she's the one at the end who comes through, do you know what I mean? She spends all her time training in the backgrounds and stuff, and I think that's what motivates me. But also, I think rejection, I've never heard of it as protection, but that's a really good, that's actually really true, because so many things I've not got, I've seen and I've gone, oh, thank God I didn't do that. Yeah. I think definitely there's just so many doors, and I think when one closes, you just need to make sure you don't close yourself off to the other ones.
Sure.
Yeah, 100%. And Eden, have you ever had to deal with rejection or people not receiving your content as well, and how did you deal with that?
I mean, in terms of TikTok, not really, but in terms of just in life, there will be some things that I wouldn't even do, because not even the fear of being rejected. Okay, let me give you an example. So in school, there would be loads of productions and musicals and this, that and the other. And there would be some times where the leading female role would be, obviously, stereotypically, would be a white girl. So the one that I did last year, I didn't actually end up doing it, but that's not the point. The one that I was going to audition for, the leading lady was a blonde woman, and I was sitting there and I said to my teacher, I said, "Sir, I can't lie to you, I'm never going to get that because I'm not blonde and I'm brown." And he was like, "No, don't worry, we're not, we don't put people in their own places, it's fine, you go for it," because obviously, because I did, the year before I did have, what's that thing called? Principal. The year before I did have a principal role, and he was like, "Oh, you're singing so great. Oh, you're acting so great. Just audition." And I was like, "Okay, cool. You know what? I will." And then when I did it, guess who the role went to? It went to a blonde girl. And I was like, you know what? That's cool. I understand that that's going to happen. And it's just sitting there and accepting the fact that people will say things. They're like, "Oh no, we're not going to look at your race. We're not going to look at this. We're not going to look at that." But they will, and you just kind of have to get over it. Yes, I can sit there and go, "Oh man, that's so sad." But what else can you do? Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to go up there and fight the man. I'm just going to be like, "Okay, cool. It is what it is. We move on." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's fair. And last question before we wrap up. This has gone by really, really quick. What do you think that platforms like TikTok can do to empower more Black content creators to make comedy content on the platform?
Come back to me.
Come back to you.
Yeah.
I think they're already doing a pretty good job, as I said, with the algorithm. To know that every video you make could go viral is a good incentive to put your best foot forwards. I think definitely it gives everyone a fair chance. As Eden was saying, there's a very particular type of person who is getting roles in her world, and to know that there are no rules as for what gets put, on the For You page. I think that's pretty encouraging for sure. And like I said, if you combine that with a good work ethic, I think it's a flawless formula, because it means that the best people are breaking through. Newcomers are breaking through, so this is constant revolving conveyor belt of new talent. So it's a good place to start, but definitely ask yourself the question first, which is, what is the kind of content I want to make? What feels natural to me? I know for a fact that if I was to do the WAP dance, I would be permanently banned from the app, and that is why I haven't done that. But I have done news reporting in an ironed white shirt, because that feels more me.
Yeah.
So I think definitely just to continue to allow everyone to have a chance to do well and to thrive on the app. I think that's already pretty great.
Yeah. What about you, Eden? What do you think TikTok can do to get more Black content creators on the app?
Well, I think my days, I've forgotten his name. I'm so sorry.
Lewis Hamilton.
Lewis Hamilton.
Lewis Hamilton.
Aston from
yeah, as Lewis said. Well, the algorithms literally, it's beautiful. You can go viral for goodness knows what, and anybody can do it. It's not like Instagram. It's not like YouTube. It's not like the filming industry. Like, you can literally go viral doing literally anything. So I think that helps with people like putting content out there and like thinking, you know what, maybe me, maybe this video. And I feel like always having that like maybe me mentality is a great mentality to have, and I think it really does help. It helped me because I was like, you know what, if it could go viral, it couldn't, you never know. But like, I only live once, do you know what I mean? So I might as well, like, there's no point of just sitting there going, oh, what if? Like, I'm just gonna do it. And like, the thing is, TikTok don't really favour one person or another. Like, it isn't really like that. Literally, the algorithm's beautiful. It's splendid. It's fantastic. So like, exactly, it's a beautiful algorithm. So I just say go for it. Like, there's what is the worst that can happen, really? Make a list for me and come back to me.
All right.
Please.
Last but not least.
So just what Eden and Munya said, yeah, I feel like the app is doing great, like so far. I feel like, for example, for me being an actor, I feel like there is, and many people who are trying to get into that field can say that it is very hard trying to break into the industry, especially being a person of colour. You have to work twice as hard. In terms of roles that people get, a lot of the roles are not diverse, you know, and, you know, I feel like TikTok is such a great platform that enables you to literally have full control of the content you put out there. Just like Munya said, you know, you have to just ask yourself, like, what sort of content you're trying to put out there, because you have to be very mindful that, yes, you do want to create content, you know, but you want to make sure your content gets to the right people, you know? And I feel TikTok is a great way. There's no limitation, you know? I feel TikTok is an app for everyone. You have from cooking to acting to sports to dancing to singing, just so many things. Even from people cleaning their swimming pools, you know? It's weird. Like, sometimes I see stories of people like saying, oh, day 5 of cleaning my horrible, you know, pool that hasn't been used to, you know, an amazing whatever this may be. So I think it's really, really good. And, you know, even where I was so glad to see TikTok being great, what even made me even want to even go on it more was back in February, TikTok, because Black History Month is different in America, they had a Black TikTok Creator Summit, and they literally flew out so many Black creators to LA for a few days, gave them, you know, a chauffeur with their name, living that proper life, you know what I mean? You know, had a full course meal, everything was good. Like, you know, they had, their whole panel was filled with all Black, you know, people in the industry. And I thought that was really great because it's such a great start, because that's something I've never ever seen before. And I got a bit emotional because I'm like, I've never ever seen any platform do something so big so early as well, because TikTok was still quite a new app to so many people. So I feel like if that's the case, like, there's no stopping now, you know? And, you know, I really feel like anybody who's out there who's a person of colour, you know, if you're watching this, don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself. You know, there's so many opportunities for you to go viral. But if you're really trying to grow, I wouldn't really recommend that you're doing it just for the followers and numbers, because they genuinely will not come. And even if they do come, it will be for a limited amount of time. But just live in the moment, have fun. And yeah, there's a whole community waiting out for you, because everybody is looking for somebody to relate to. And if they can do that for all of us, then they can definitely do it for them as well.
Amen.
Yeah.
Pastor in the house.
That's it.
Thank you all so much for joining us this evening. Like, this has been a really insightful conversation. I might even get my TikTok up and running. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to join you. You know what I'm saying? No, but it's been really important. As your jumper says, Black creators matter.
Black creators matter.
You guys are doing great work in the middle of everything that's happening at the moment, especially Black Lives Matter. Like, you are all bringing us joy, and we really need that right now. We're also dispirited at the moment. So thank you so much for your content.
One other thing, Black Creators Matter, it's an amazing platform which actually promotes Black creatives. Definitely check them out on Instagram. I'm wearing, you know, the t-shirt here, #1 mascot, Woi Woi. So that's really, really great. So, you know, it's an amazing platform because it gives other creatives, singers, musicians, people who write, so many creatives who are in the industry to have a platform to speak about issues. So yeah, it's definitely good to have a look at them on Instagram. And yeah, it's definitely a safe place, a safe haven for everyone to speak and, you know, showcase their talents. So
cool, amazing. And thank you to all the viewers at home for joining us. We are now going to go to our hero video, My Roots. So check that out and join us on Thursday the 15th for our Foodie Vibes show with Andy Oliver.